welcome back to
Bunso
Bunso
Bites.
Bites. I'm your host, Ami43.
And I'm your co-host, Chiggy.
And before we get started into today's episode, how's your week been? What's your weekly update, Chiggy?
My weekly update is not much. I just wanted to point out that I'm playing a new mobile game.
Oh, yeah?
It's called Ragnarok Online Idle Adventure Plus.
Oh, wow. Long title for
It's a long title, yes. But it is off a computer game that I used to play back in the day. It was called Ragnarok Online.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those games where it's just like you point and you click, and then you can use the keyboard to use skills and all that. And it just had so much depth to it back then.
Okay.
And it's been like, 15, 20 years now since I first started playing it. And it's just bringing me back so much nostalgia.
Nice.
The background music that it plays, it doesn't have all the tracks, but it has some good ones there.
Okay.
It's missing the main background music for the city of Prontera, which is probably the best.
Very specific.
The best track they got.
I was going to say, I love that you still remember it.
Oh yeah, it's one of those songs that I play like on YouTube. Like whenever I want to feel the feels again.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
But it's an idle adventure game, so you don't really do much. You let it play by itself, and then you pick things that will improve your characters, and then you'll slowly progress through the story and all that.
Okay, so do you like how they've transferred it over as a mobile game?
I mean, you've basically lost everything that you would if you're playing the actual MMORPG, because it's more hands-on.
Oh, yeah.
But I just like the skin that it has to a idle type game.
Okay, that's cool. I recently learned about idle type games because, so before this is a couple weeks back, but before this, I was getting mad ads for this game called Go-Go Muffin. I was about to call it Go-Go Chocolate Chip Cookie, which was not.
Muffin? Is it Go-Go Muffin?
I think so, because Muffin is a little mousy character. But it Go-Go something. I was getting ad after ad after ad after ad about it, and I did not know. I don't know. I guess I'm their target audience, and so we downloaded it just so I could be like, okay, what is this game? And then it was my first time experiencing, it's an idle game.
Mm-hmm.
So you just let it run, which was so foreign to me. So, because I was asking Chigi, I was like, so what do I do now? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, what? But it's a cute game. I think, it thrives on, or these types of games thrive on just looking very aesthetic, maybe having very nice background music. So it's one of those things that like you can just kind of keep on the side, and maybe if you're working or studying or something, it's just playing in the background.
Yeah.
So
I think what it really does well is the aesthetic part.
yeah.
So all the microtransactions that go into it is just to make your character look more unique.
Skins, colors,
Yep.
all the things.
Just every minute detail that you can change on your character so that it has its unique look, and then it stands out from everyone else.
Yeah, and I feel like because we've talked about this before, as gaming continues to progress, like mobile games are no longer just Flappy Birds of the world, like where it's just a simple, because you're trying not to take up too much memory or battery on your phone. Phones are getting more and more capable, and so they're injecting these really high quality graphics into mobile games, and it's really cool. It's really interesting. I'm not the biggest mobile gamer, but I can appreciate the fact that like a lot of game developers put a lot into it, and when a game looks very, very nice, the artists that put the work into it really put the work into it. So I can appreciate.
So what is your weekly update then?
Not as exciting or as fun as yours, but I am kind of officially back into the office.
Yay.
I know. I had been working from home pretty much since the Panini, and then now due to just new rules, they're like, all right, everybody back into the office, and boy, has it been a transition. I mean, adding the time for commute like automatically makes my day feel like twice, 3 times longer than what I, than a normal day. I don't know. And I feel it just, the time it takes. To be fair, my commute is not long, but it's not short either. It's not a 15-minute drive up the road. I'm in the car for at least 40 minutes if it's a good traffic day. If it's a not so great traffic day, which happened to me this morning, actually, I was in my car for over an hour, and that drained my soul. It's like, and I haven't even gotten to the office, and I'm already just like, there were, unfortunately, there were 2 accidents, and it was insane. I got caught in the worst combination of crossfires, and I was just in the car for that long. And yeah, so that hasn't been fun. That being said, another adjustment, which I'm trying to find joy or like have fun in, is prepping my lunch. So I'm trying to like find cute and fun things to do again for my lunch. I used to be really, really good at making pretty decent lunch. And so my thing is, I'm normally like I kind of nibble through the day. I don't really like having a big lunch, because then if I eat a big lunch, I'm going to feel sleepy right after.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll normally do like, okay, coffee in the morning, and then I bought these little like protein boxes that have little jerky and cheese in it. Or if not that, I have the cheese, our favorite cheese sticks, and then I'll do like a lunch, which is lately it's been a lot of soup. I like soup a lot, whether it's homemade or instant, but I've been doing a lot of soup. And then, I have fruit ready to nibble through the afternoon, or if it's not fruit, some crackers. And then we also have a bunch of random like snacks and goodies from Costco that I like to.
Right.
So that's been fun too. Or I'm trying to find joy in that, because it's like, okay, it's something unique or something different that I'm doing compared to before, because I have to go to the office. So I'm trying to make it fun. Also, what is really nice is obviously like being in the office, I get to see the coworkers that I like. I also have to see the coworkers I don't like, but I get to see the coworkers I like, which is nice. And I'm just joking. I really do genuinely have a lot of coworkers that I enjoy spending time with. And also the desk that they assign me is like a pretty decent sized desk. So am I in a corner? Yes. Is the light above my desk broken? Also yes. But I have a desk light and I have a lamp. So it's fine. But it's like, again, it's that silly thing of like, you're just trying to find the little joys or the little wins so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming, I suppose. So
Yeah. Unlike Ami, I've been back in the office for maybe 2 years now.
Yeah.
So it's not a big change for me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a shorter commute than you, maybe 20-25 minutes.
Yeah.
Which does suck for my car, because
Oh.
going to the office every day. But now for you, it's even worse for you.
A little bit.
But I usually don't like bringing like you say,
Eat
a lot of
lunch.
little snacks.
Oh yeah.
I like to have a big lunch and then eat that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Tide
I've
over.
lately been bringing snacks instead of a lunch.
Yeah.
And so like now I have like 2 bananas, 2 mandarins, some fruit cups, some club crackers, and then I have peanuts and almonds at my desk also. So I'm always snacking on something now. And then I guess the biggest change now for me is actually drinking coffee regularly.
Yeah.
So it's become very rough for me to stay awake at work. So I do drink at least 1 cup of coffee a day.
Yeah. I will say currently in our like personal lives, like all of our in-betweens, Chiggy and I have been extremely busy, as in like late nights, early mornings, nonstop for probably the last 2 or 3 weeks. And there's just been a lot going on in our lives. So it's been not in a bad way, just like we're in a busy chapter right now. And hopefully in like the next couple of weeks again, we can kind of take a breather and then just be like, okay.
Yeah.
So I feel
for
that.
me, I will say that it's not hard for me to fall asleep anymore.
Yeah.
Like I can just knock out as soon as I like lie down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I find myself like during my lunch breaks, since I only take a 30-minute lunch, instead of eating a lunch, because I eat throughout the day,
You take a nap?
I just take a nap in the car. So I'll go to the car, recline my chair, knock out for 25 minutes, because I only take a half hour,
Yeah.
and then come back.
Yeah. I mean, even I try not to, but the nature of my work tends to be a little bit busy. But when I get opportunities to step away from my desk for my lunch, quote unquote my lunch, because normally I'm one, because like I said, I nibble through the day anyways, so then I just kind of sit at my desk anyways. But when I get an opportunity to step away from my desk, I either try to sit in my car or I will take a lap outside so I can see sun. So again, my desk is literally in its own corner, and it's facing a corner, and I'm in the dark, and I have I'm my back is to the 3 windows in that room. Like I'm facing the one side of the room that like there's no windows, there's no nothing. And so it is nice when it's probably happened like twice now, where it's like walking, taking a step outside and just being like, oh, this is what sunlight and wind and air feels like. And it's really refreshing. It helps reset. Really good for your eyes, obviously. So I think I will try to, within reason of course, but try to do that a little more frequently, so I'm not just like feeling like I'm in dungeon like mindset or anything. Because it's so funny to me that like the light above my desk specifically, the entire room, all the lights are fine. It's the one little the office has that very typical office like grid lighting, where it's like there's blocks of drywall or blocks of the like long stick lights, and the one panel that's not working is the one that's right above my desk. All the lights work perfectly fine in the room except for that, and I'm just like, okay. But I brought in this really cute vintage light that I have, and it gives a nice warm glow. And then I have my desk light, which is like the light that's underneath the cubbies of my desk. So it's not that it's not lit, it's just it feels very dark. Anyways, all of that to say, that was our a weekly check-in. How are you guys doing? How's your week been? Hopefully good things on your end. But all that's being said, let's jump into the episode. Chiggy, what are we talking about today?
So I know I say this a lot, but we're going to keep this one short. And by short, I mean under 45 to an hour.
Yeah?
So
You think we can do it?
we're hoping it's going to be 30 minutes. And the topic is just one question, and it is, if money was not an issue, how would it change you?
Okay.
So for me, if I had all the money that I could ever ask for, and I could spend it on whatever, I wouldn't splurge on like a new car or like a big house.
Okay.
I would just upgrade the stuff that I have currently so that it's not a problem.
Oh.
So like for me, I would probably upgrade my computer so that it's faster. It's
his brand new computer.
Hey, still they just came out with the 5000 series.
Stop.
for gaming cards, or graphic cards. So like getting that slight edge over your competitor.
Oh, okay.
Or I don't know, I guess new clothes, because we always need that.
Yeah.
Not flashy clothes, just new clothes.
Yeah.
Because I have holy socks, and my big toe sticks out through the front of my sock. So
I try to throw those away, guys. I swear. Or like if I don't throw them away, like if there's ones that I can mend or if I can fix it, I like put them off to the side. But sometimes he'll just take it out, and I'm like, no, I haven't fixed it yet. He'll still wear it, and I'm like, okay. So.
yeah, but I think for me the biggest change would be that I would just completely stay home. Like if I needed to shop for something, I would just get a delivery service.
Oh, like the conveniences
Yeah.
of being able to stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I had all the money, you wouldn't see me unless you were at home with me or like on a video call with me, because I would stay home.
Would you work?
Yeah, I'd work from home.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, because, if money wasn't a problem, you could just whatever.
Yeah. So like instead of working a 9 to 5 like office job, I would try to find a 9 to 5 at home.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, granted, I would still have to make money, but if money was not a problem for me,
Right.
and I could just do whatever I want with it, that's what I'd do with it. Just
Okay.
make life easier for me and more centralized. So like not leaving the house, getting everything delivered to me, upgrading the things that I have in the house,
Yeah.
making my quote unquote man cave. So
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Okay, that's valid. I feel like when we initially started talking about this as like an episode, I had a really hard time because I agree with Chiggy in a sense of I don't think I would, like, my first thought is not, let me go buy a mansion or let me go buy that cool snazzy car. Don't get me wrong, if we had a mansion, that'd be cool, but also I don't want to clean it, so like,
Right.
I don't know. But then I guess if we had all that money, we could hire a maid. I don't know, but it was just like, it's a lot to maintain. That's a lot of work. So it's like, okay, a nicer car. Kind of like what you said, I wouldn't mind upgrading my car. I don't think I would need the super duper fanciest cars because I'm just not a car. I just need a car that works. I'm still running a car that does not have Bluetooth, does not have, like, my car is considered very old school by today's standards, I'll say. So yeah, maybe upgrading my car would be cool, but again, I'm totally fine with my car. One of the things that I did think of though was me personally, I would if I were to buy, quote unquote, if I were to buy a house or like land or something, I would do it to kind of settle my parents, I guess. Like that'd be a really cool thing to be able to do. I don't know if this was in a previous episode or if it was something that just you, Chicky, and I were talking about, but one of the things that that brings me a lot of joy and satisfaction in life is when I can give back to people that I care about a lot. So we've talked about gift giving before, and that's really important to me because I feel like I find value in myself when I'm able to give people things that they want or need in life. And so, not that my parents need a house right now. I think they're okay, but like if they needed a house and money wasn't a problem for me, I'd buy them whatever house they wanted in whatever city they wanted. That type of a thing. Or if I don't know, my brother needed help putting his kids through school, I would do that. That's how I would like to spend my money. And I would do that solely because, like I said, I find joy in doing that, or I find satisfaction. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like it would fill my cup as a person if I was able to give things of significant value to the people in my life that I love and care about. Like, I don't know, if you needed something, like you had a health issue or whatever, I would love that money's not a problem, so I can just whatever it is you need. I don't know, I'm just trying to speak of like what situations can come up in life, I don't know if I would stay home all the time. I think between you and I, which is really funny, Chiggy and I are both introverts, but we are opposite introverts. I can be with any number of people, but for short bursts of time. Chiggy can be with a smaller group of people for an extended period of time. And Chiggy likes being a homebody. I like recovering as a home, like in my homebody state, but I also like going and doing things by myself, like going out to eat or going traveling or whatever. And Chiggy lets me do that because he doesn't want to come with me, and I'm just like, it's fine because I just want quiet. So I just go out. Again, introverts, but opposite introverts. So it works out. Yeah, with infinite money, I'd probably find cool places to travel to, I guess. But then I don't want to go. If I'm going somewhere really cool, I still want to bring you with me. Like, especially if it's something that you hadn't experienced yet. That would be cool. Like, the places that I like to go to, quote unquote, that I travel to on a fairly regular basis, you've already been there. But, like, if I were to say, like, I'm going to go to, I don't know, what's a Tibet or something crazy, I would bring you with me because I'd be like, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that would be something that I'd like to do. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny because I feel like one of the things that Chiggy and I had the opportunity to live through together was when we had nothing together. So I think that's why that has molded a lot of how we perceive and view our finances. Our finances is a means of living and a means of life, and I think both Chiggy and I are more concerned with just, you know, being having enough for us, and then whatever's extra, we love being generous and giving to others, and, you know, and then obviously we save what we need to save for the things we need to save for, but we still buy our nerd things. He still buys his computer and Pokemon cards, and I still buy my art stuff and whatever, and it's fine. But yeah, I feel like because we started with little to nothing, that really did affect how we the crazy thing was when we started, we were still insanely happy. We didn't need a lot, and we had each other. We had time back then. Now I feel like we don't have time as
not
much.
at all.
we would spend hours doing nothing, but that was the fun of it, was that we could just sit together and play video games, or we can go walk around town center and play pogo, just things that were completely free. We could watch K-dramas that, you know, we found, and it was taking hours, but it was like, oh, it's fine. Like, you know, spending time with each other was more important than spending money. And so I guess that's why. Oh, I mean, obviously, if there was anything you'd want, I'd get it for you. I don't know. What I'm trying to think of, like, what expensive thing would you want? Pokemon cards? Buy you a, what is it? First edition Holo Charizard?
No.
PSA 10?
I personally wouldn't need that.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have a base set Charizard,
You
but
do.
I wouldn't need.
It is not a PSA 10, I will tell you that right now.
I wouldn't need the greatest of the greats. But I mean, I have a similar card of that.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's not a PSA 10, but it is the same card.
It is.
I just do want to throw out there that, you know, our families,
Yeah.
like we didn't struggle as much as our parents did before they had us.
Right.
So we live a fairly comfortable life.
We live a very comfortable life, yes.
You know, we're not struggling to make ends meet, which is a blessing. And even when we were working, even when we were working part-time jobs, we still, you know, we weren't scrounging around for things, but we were still living comfortably. And I guess my view of how I thought about the question is I would just make my life even more comfortable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to flaunt it like other people do, like you would see on like YouTube videos and in the news, like, oh,
I bought 10 Tesla trucks and
right. And, you know, I just wrecked one and now I have another one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live like that because that brings across many eyes. So you get a lot of views, but then you also get a lot of people that want to, you know, be a part of that. And so they want to share that
They want a share.
a share of that as well. So like I said earlier, I would like to stay comfortable, in my own personal space.
Yeah.
So just upgrading the things that I have around me so that I don't leave the house, so that eyes are not on me.
Would you build a bunker?
Probably not.
Because when you were first talking about it, that was literally my first thought was like, sounds like he's getting ready for like bunker style.
I don't want to do like a doomsday type
Yeah.
thing, but I just want to make it so that I don't have to leave the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like-
And I wouldn't even say that you have to leave the house, but it's like you could have everything that you need at your fingertips,
Mm-hmm.
and then the convenience part being that like you don't have to necessarily do anything to get there. So like delivery services or hiring someone else to take care of it. Yeah, I can totally see that, especially nowadays with how common all of that is. It's not necessarily is it a luxury? Yes, but is it uncommon? No. I think a lot of people, it wouldn't look like you said, there wouldn't be a lot of eyes looking at you being like, oh, this guy like has a lot, because just like, no, this guy just gets delivery a lot. It wouldn't look weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I would picture my normal, like, every day-to-day
Yeah.
type of life. Of course, I would still like to, like, visit, other countries as well and travel.
Mm-hmm.
But, I didn't really think of that at first when I thought of the question.
Right, yeah. Well, and like I feel like it's one of those things that it's like you think about it, you say an answer, and then as you start talking things out, like we have here, the answer, not that it changes, but it evolves, right?
Correct.
Because even now, the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, but I would also want to, like, me personally, I'm like, oh, I want to give that to this, or put this here, or do something like this. I'm really big into making things, and I mean, if money wasn't an issue, I would like make my own workshop somewhere. I don't know, here at the house, or if I like just rent out a space somewhere or something, but like just have a workshop that I can destroy just because I want to. Not intentionally, but just like, where it's like, oh, paint splatter doesn't matter. Wood stuff doesn't matter. Sewing thread everywhere doesn't matter. Like, in a sense of like I can create without limit, which is something that I love doing personally. And I don't know, that would be really cool. Having like a full on workshop room that I can just go ham in. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let me slightly change the question, because I feel like we kind of went like to one extreme, but I'm also interested to see if you, instead of if money wasn't a problem, if you very specifically won, I don't know, $1 million, just like a fixed amount, rather than if money wasn't a problem.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do? How would you handle that?
So since $1 million is a finite number,
A fixed.
and it will run out,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I would still fix up everything that I would need to in my day-to-day life.
Okay.
So like,
You'd still upgrade life.
right,
Yeah.
currently, I know there's a bunch of things wrong with my car.
Oh.
So like,
I didn't know that.
I would get my windshield fixed, or I would get the necessary things updated on my car that you would on a routine checkup.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if I needed to replace the alternator, or if I needed to replace the battery, even though like I know the battery's still good,
Mm-hmm.
but if it needed to be replaced now, then yeah, I'd go ahead and do it until waiting when that day that it would die out on me.
Right.
Stuff like that. I would probably get new appliances, because those are God knows how old.
No. As old as the house.
Something like that. Just little things like that. Nothing big, because I know that with that type of money, it will run out, and
Mhm.
so I want it to span my lifetime
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah,
because I won't. Well, I would have a regular job still,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
but um, I would just use it on practical stuff rather than impractical stuff.
Mm. Okay, I like that. Yeah, like you said, you want to be able to enjoy that windfall over a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. I like that answer.
All right. And for you, would you just splurge your $1,000,000 right away? Because I think you would.
Well, I wouldn't splurge it, but I would make very hyper specific investments, and I would turn that money into I would turn it into something that could then give me return income. So whether that's I invest in properties and I rent it out, or I, whatever. That's kind of the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head, because that's something that my parents do. And having that as just like a side income. Again, I would do the same as I wouldn't quit my job. I wouldn't quit my day job, have my day job, but then just have this extra, in our pockets. Or I mean, the easy answer, or quote unquote, the typical answer would be like stock market stuff. I am not well versed in that, so I can't say. But would I invest in stocks? Sure. Would I invest in there's different ways to do it, because you can go to any consultation firms or investment firms, and they can do it for you. That's what I would do with it, so that I would take the $1,000,000 as my like startup money, and then I would turn it into how can this churn money for me, like you said, over the course of my lifetime, so that I can enjoy it over my lifetime, if that makes sense. So maybe not necessarily a splurge in a sense of like I'm shopping, but a splurge I'd make a big investment. Yeah, probably. That's what would make the most sense to me, because I think, excuse me, at least in this point in our lives, we're chilling, like we're mad chilling. So it's not like we're not in dire need of something right now, And so I think which is such a, we're so grateful for that, obviously. We're capable of making ends meet, so anything extra truly is extra. And so yeah, I like the idea of spending it over the course, spending it in a way. And I think both you and I have the same idea of turning it into something long term. That money would not be let's buy everyone a vacation right now, like, and then it's gone in a week. It would be how can we make this last? How can we make it the most bang for your buck? Like, I sound like my mom. Oh my goodness, but in the best of ways, right? Because it's like, if that extra is there for you to utilize, then utilize it. Whether it's we need to fix your car, or we can turn it into some type of investment. I found out when I was like 18 or so, I found out that my parents had invested in the company that made my textbooks when I was in elementary school. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't think anything crazy came out of it, but my parents did end up still having, like, they had stocks in it. And I was like, wow. I can't remember the company's name right now, but it was like a very 90s textbook company, and it's just, doing stuff like that, where it's just like, well, yeah, if I put in 50 and I get 100 back, hey, I got $50 more, and again, for it to be used for the long term, for us to have in the long term, so that we can retire comfortably, or retire maybe a little earlier or something. Again, keeping our day jobs, but having that cushion for us, whether it's while we're working or for an early retirement or whatever.
Cool. So while you were explaining all that,
Mm-hmm.
I did have another thought of what I would do with that 1 million.
Yeah.
So a very specific reel came into my head.
Okay.
And it was a guy that was like living out on a plot of land,
Uh-huh.
and he made everything, like all of his utilities on all that, he made it renewable. So like he had his own generator for electricity, and then he made his own like filtration system
For the water.
for water, so that the rainwater he could use and be filtered, and then he can use it like in his house. And he had a Tesla. He had his own like gaming setup, and I distinctly remember him saying like on a day-to-day basis, he calculated how much he would have spent if it were controlled by like
He's off grid essentially.
yeah, if it were controlled by the big major companies. And his spending after making everything renewable would be like $2 or something a day.
Yeah.
And you know, he's a YouTuber, and so since he makes content off of that, he basically is, you know, sustaining his own life
Yeah.
through that. And so I guess if I had that million and I had to make it long term, you know, doing something like that where you put everything up front, but then once everything's in place and
It's set up.
you're coasting from there, and then you're just making your residual income.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Yes, the idea of being off grid and I've seen multitudes of versions of this, like whether it's people who live in vans and, you know, they only really pay for their gas and, you know, and they just travel everywhere, or like that, where people will buy these huge swaths of land that are seemingly in the middle of nowhere, but then they're able to set up their homes or their living situation to be just them, and it's really interesting. I am not knowledgeable enough personally to be able to say, oh yeah, that's something we could totally do. But that being said, if we were to take, let's just say theoretically, this house and just kind of update it and tweak it so that we, not necessarily that we would go completely off grid, but just like we would make it like, you know, solar panels for our electricity, and you know, setting it up so that I don't really know how water would work because we literally live in the suburbs, but you know, those types of things are it is really interesting to think about. And like you said, it in the long term it can cost so much less if you set it up in a way that it's your own, you know, versus paying a company to take care of it for you. So yeah, very interesting and very I just it's a fun thought experiment, because there are obviously benefits to being on the grid. You know, there's security in that in multiple ways, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, look at what happened in Texas when there was a snowstorm. You never know.
Right.
You never know. So it's a give and a take, and yeah, I really liked it. I liked this episode a lot. Yeah, it was a little bit on the shorter side, but I also feel like you bring up some really good points, and it is interesting to always think of beyond what we may have, but then, like I said, it's a fun little thought experiment. So, do you have any final thoughts?
No.
So let us know in the comments down below. What do you guys think? If money wasn't an issue, what would change in your life? Would anything change? Would you be like Chiggy and just try to update the little things in your life to make it more convenient? Or would you, you know, do something different? Or if it's a fixed amount, how would that change what you do with the money? again, let us know in the comments down below. Also, if there are any topics or discussions that you would like for Chiggy and I to talk about, please also let us know. We're open to ideas. Like, we have a plethora and list of ideas that we have, but we're also interested in talking about what you guys want to hear about. So let us know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.